Let's switch gears now and talk about some of the stuff that you've done outside of the ring. I know you've been involved with a lot of charities and done a lot of charity work. Talk to
Yeah.
me about some of the organizations or things that you've done to help out in the community.
So my community is a great community. I love Asheville. It's where I live. Like mentioned at the beginning, I've been here all my life. I've never moved out of town. I've always been here. And so I I have to say I know so many people around here because like when you go to school with everybody and then you go around town, you eventually, start to get to know everybody. And it's really helped me realize that I love my community. I love my town. Every town has people that live in it that are like, yeah, oh, I hate my town, or God, I can't wait to get out of here. But see, I'm not that person. Like I love it here. And I think helping my community is very important. I think one of the biggest, I don't want to say it's an issue, but I think one of the biggest and most prominent things that people might look at and mention with my town is homelessness. There's a lot of homelessness here, and it's weird. Since I've been here all my life, I've kind of see it grow more and more. So I've actually done some work in high school and just a couple of years ago with a community. With a organization in the community called ABCCM. And what they basically do is they provide food and shelter and just places for people to stay that are, that don't have a home. And I think that was really important for me to do work with them because a lot of people around here, they're just like, gosh, these homeless people, I wish they would just go on and go somewhere else. But we don't know the whole story. Like, this person could be mentally, not in a good spot, or they could be some sort of disabled veteran. Like, there's so many reasons that and working with them made me realize, like, there's so many reasons that one person could actually be homeless. Like I always just assumed like, oh well, that person must have just lost their mind and they don't know what to do, so now they're on the side of the road. Well, that's not always the case. They opened my eyes to the idea of like, oh well, you can get evicted and you and your whole family can just, what do you do? So working with them, I can't recommend enough because there's different ways that you can do it. They really push for you to, help get homeless people to their shelters. They also are advocates for soup kitchens and stuff like that. We have a lot of places around town like soup kitchens, places that can provide food for them and warmth and shelter. For a college project I had to pick something to do out in town. And I actually ended up doing my project at this thrift store. And unfortunately, the thrift store is not there anymore. But when it was kind of known for like bringing in people that were homeless and having them have a place to stay because the thrift store, sold all these clothes and antiques and whatnot, but there was this whole section of it was like a small cafeteria
Hmm.
that was for like, bringing those people in and giving them food and giving them a place to go. And when I was doing my work there, it was like the coolest thing because all these homeless people came in, and most people would be like, "Oh gosh, there's homeless people. We better lock our drawers." There's something like that. Well, these people at the thrift store, they were like, "Oh, come on in, and come on in. It's good to see you." Like they talk to them like they've known them for years, and I just really that like really lit me up. I was like, I like this environment of like, treating everybody the same and bringing everybody in and helping them out because like I said, we don't know the full story. And
No,
yeah, and I actually got to meet a few of those people and I was like,
really.
wow, they were like totally friendly. You could tell that some of them, you know oh, what's the old saying? Skeletons in the closet, demons. I don't know.
Everybody's got their skeletons in the closet. We've
Yeah,
all got
you
our
you
skeletons in the closet. Yeah.
yeah, you could tell that a couple of the homeless people that I met, they might have had something going on, but I ended up having like fully in-depth conversations with them, just like you and I are, and that really opened my eyes. I was like, you know what? Why not help these people?
Yeah, I mean, kudos to you for being able to do that because not many people can say that they would want to do that, you know? And so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just you never know what people are going through in their lives, and for you to reach out to them when they could be turned away, it's just
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking to hear, stuff like that that goes on because we all
Yeah.
need support, whenever things get
Mhm.
rough out there, and so it's very heartwarming to hear, you were able to reach
Yeah,
out and
well,
do that.
if something happened to me and I lost my home, I would hate to know that most people would be like, "Oh god, get that guy. Lock the doors. This guy's walking around, let's not help him out." Like I just don't like the automatic like boom, don't help
Yeah.
that person. That doesn't make sense because now that I've talked some of these people and have more backstory, ABCCM really talked to me a lot about like, look, you have to remember these people, most of these people and these individuals were just like you, Evan. They had a home and they were perfectly fine. Things happen. They probably never expected to not have a home, and so
Mhm.
that it's all about perspective. And I definitely recommend if anybody's in Western North Carolina to if they want to do any good for anybody, that's a great thing. Another thing that's more lighthearted, Brother Wolf is a adoption center
Hmm.
here in Asheville. They do a great job at basically, letting people come in and adopt animals, but they're not just, animals for sale. These are, injured animals that they found around town. They'll bring them into Brother Wolf and you can go in and look at them. You'll find cats like, oh, they're cats, but it might have a broken leg because they found it, hurt somewhere. But they give you the chance to come in and adopt animals that were not in such good shape, like cats and dogs and whatnot. I love stuff like that because I'm a big animal guy, and I think it's important that we treat them right too.
You have cats or dogs at your house?
I do. Actually, he barked earlier. You might hear it back in the feed of the podcast. He's a Chihuahua. He's like this long.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, his name's Micah, and we've had him since 2014,
Hmm.
and he is definitely precious. And that's
Oh,
another thing that's really opened my heart to animals. I'm like, gosh, I love him so much. But I also love cats and different sorts of animals, except snakes, though. I don't like snakes.
yeah. They can be scary.
Yeah.
Well, what is it about giving back to the community that gives you the most joy?
Well, I think the best part about giving back to my community is I know so many people in my community, and I just think that if we all just, be negative all the time and we all just sit in our houses and we all just go, well, we're not going to help each other out, that just doesn't make any sense. I know so many people here in town that support me and what I do, um, and this is kind of the first time I've ever really gotten to talk about it. But I have so many people here in town, they'll come up to me and be like, Evan, got a great job on your wrestling. You're doing such a good job. And like, oh, good job, Evan. And it just really makes me realize like communities really do have each other's backs, because Asheville is a pretty big city. And even then, there's all these people that I can call my friends that are like, they're patting me on the back. And I'm like, that's really cool that they're doing that here in this big town. So I think it's important to do good things like that because that's if we can all be positive like that, it makes for a better town.
Yeah, I agree 100%.